The cult death toll rises in this Kenyan starvation case. Now 98 are dead. Widespread the death among followers of a Kenyan cult who believed they would go to heaven if they starved themselves has been steadily increasing over the past few days, with the death toll climbing up to a staggering 98. Authorities still carrying out exhumations of mass graves found in an 800-acre area in eastern Kenya, where self-proclaimed Good News International Church was based. Pastor Paul Mackenzie Ntheng is alleged to have told followers of the Good News International Church to not eat in order to meet Jesus. He was arrested in April 14th, following a tip-off. Kenyan media have reported that he is currently refusing food and water. According to police, and other cult members are in custody as well. Okay, there's the pastor. Most of the dead were recovered from shallow graves, while a small number were found alive, emaciated, but later died. Kenya's Office of the Director of Public Prosecution said preliminary investigations showed that the suspects might have committed crimes including murder, radicalization, and threatening public safety. Interior Minister Kithure Kindiki calling for the group's leader to spend the rest of his life in prison. In a statement, he says, "We pray that God will help them to go through the trauma to help them recover and tell the story of how one time a fellow Kenyan, a fellow human, decided to hurt so many people heartlessly, hiding under the holy scriptures." He continues, "We do not expect that Mr. Mackenzie will get out of jail for the rest of his life," said Kindiki, adding that anyone who assisted him by digging graves or disposing of bodies should also face the harshest penalties under the law. Exhumation sites were cordoned off. Teams of men wearing white protective overalls, masks, could be seen carrying away corpses wrapped in blue and white body bags. Kindiki said 3 more people had been rescued alive, bringing the total number of survivors found so far to 34. The death toll could rise further. According to the Kenyan Red Cross, more than 200 people have been reported missing to a counseling desk set up at the hospital. Cult's leader has been arrested twice before, in 2019 and earlier this year, both in the connections to the deaths of children. He was released on bond. Those cases are still proceeding through the court. The carnage here, the death toll, and the fact that 98 people are dead, meaning this, you don't starve overnight. This went on for some time. How does that happen? Different place, different culture, but how does that happen, Bennie?
Yeah, I mean, one of the heartbreaking things about, cults in general, right? Obviously, I can't speak to this one necessarily in particular, but one of the things that generally cults do is they will target people who are marginalized in some way. They will target people who are vulnerable in some way, and they will manipulate them. They'll manipulate them, and very often they give false promises of community and stuff like that. This one is giving the classic false promise of oh, if you do such and such, then you're definitely going to go to heaven or whatever. But it's really heartbreaking because they take people that are already in difficult spots, right? They promise them better things in one way, shape, or form, and then actively make their life worse and just manipulate them and exploit them. And it's just really, really heartbreaking to see this, because that is usually why things like this can go on for so long, because it is people who are already at the margins of society. It is already people who are in vulnerable positions, who are alone in some way. No, it's just kind of terrifying, and heartbreaking to see this, especially when you have such an incredibly massive death toll from something it takes so long.
Yeah. And it makes me think of other cults that we've unfortunately uncovered, read about over the years. And you're so right about how desperate someone must be for hope, for guidance, looking to someone who's just making it up, full of terror in this case, and evil, and yet blindly following and suffering through it all. Extraordinary. And, it's a case that we have to follow and see what happens next. But I do wonder about, it said 200 people reported missing at the Red Cross Counseling Center. I do wonder about the human connection. And some of it might just be distance and location. And, maybe you don't realize for a while that your cousin, your brother, someone's not responding in a timely fashion. But it does make me wonder about that human connection that's lost, where you are over here with a group and you were at one point available to everyone, and then suddenly you're not. And in that insulation, because that's really what abuse is, you insulate someone from anything that they can rely on except for you. And I wonder about that.